Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. Today, we have a very special treat for anybody, especially those of us that are looking to scale our rental portfolios using DSCR loans. We're going to do a complete deep dive. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video and a comment letting us know what you took away from today's webinar. And if you haven't already, you got to come and join us on the Discord at discord.gg/REIRev or on our website at reirev.com. We have an incredible lineup. We got Mr. Jack Bergen and Mr. Tyler Ross coming to join us today to tell us about their DSCR loan products. Guys, how are we doing today?
We had some incredible conversations. We were introduced from a mutual friend of ours, right? It looks like somebody that was a former, or still current, we got to give him the credit for that, a current REI Revolution member, ended up joining our shop, Leverage Companies over in Newark. He made the introduction, and I love everything that you guys are doing. I'm super excited to see what kind of growth opportunities there are for everybody. And John, I know we talked about it a little bit ourselves on a one-on-one basis, but I just see so much room for us to be able to potentially work together, and I'm really excited about the product launch that we're going to be doing today.
I'm excited, man. Hey, if you guys haven't already heard about DSCR loans, this is going to be an incredible live stream for everybody that's in here just to even learn, especially for people that, have seen lots of opportunities that want to start like actually building a rental portfolio, but are maybe concerned about, showing your tax statements or whatever it is you got to do to go and get approved for like a conventional loan. I think this is going to be a great alternative, especially for people, that have some experience that may have actually closed on some deals, but are now starting to think about building a portfolio. And I'm telling you guys, this is that loan product that's going to help you be able to do it, especially at scale. So Jack, thank you for coming on today, and I'm gonna let you run with it, man. I know you got a presentation for us, Tyler as well. And I want to talk, to everybody about this type of opportunity and how, especially for the people that are in here that are already finding great deals, how they can actually finance them with us.
Absolutely. I'm super excited.
Yes,
I'll start off. I'll just introduce myself. My name's Jack Bergen. I'm an account manager at Brick City Capital. We're a conglomerate organization underneath Leverage Companies. We do everything, right? I'm going to go into the presentation to give you guys a little bit more background as to who we are, what we do, and kind of what our plan is for kind of just combining forces. I'm really excited about it. But Tyler, you want to say a couple words?
Yeah. So my name's Tyler Ross as well. Been working with Jack on this product launch. We've been really excited about everything. So I'll let the presentation get underway. You're gonna get all the info you need from there, and for the most part. But I appreciate you guys having me, and we're excited to be here.
Fantastic.
Cool. Just want to make sure you guys can all see my screen.
It looks like it's currently loading, so let's see if we can get this presentation going here.
Let's see here. Bear with me for 2 seconds.
Guys, I want to know if this is your first time joining us for a live stream. Drop a 1 in the chat. I want to know how many of us are here for the first time. I want to welcome in everybody, especially those of us that are new, that maybe this is our first time watching. And drop a 2 in the chat if this is not your first time. If you come back and you've been with us for a while, you've been in REI Rev and you've grown with us for a while, I want to know how many of us are new here, if this is your first time, or a 2 in the chat if this is not your first time, if you're coming back.
I love it.
Awesome.
This is awesome.
Let's go.
This is awesome. Cool. So I guess we'll get into it, man. We'll get into it. So
so Jack, I'm having some trouble. I can't see the stream here. I'm not sure. Can anybody else see the stream? Are you on Discord on your computer, or are you on web browser?
I am on the web browser. Would that be an issue here?
You gotta get the Discord app. You gotta get it on the computer.
I might be able to pull it up for you, Jack. If you need.
T, pull it up. That'd be great.
Let's see.
Awesome. We got T man, main man T. He's ready to go.
Sir.
Come on now.
Sir, I got you.
Boom.
How we looking?
It's up.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, Jack, you
Cool,
want to
cool,
start
cool.
us off?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, first of all, it's an honor to be able to present to you guys today. Like I said, I connected with John a couple weeks prior, and we were just talking about potential ways that we could work together. I got to give props to the community because you guys are really building something here that's incredibly special, man. The growth that you guys have been able to see. I've been messing around with a couple different chats over the last week or two. You guys just have an incredible amount of engagement, and I see so many different ways that we could synergize together and just allow each other to continue to grow. And I want to dive a little bit into kind of who the hell we are, right? Why am I here today? And talk about the opportunity that we have in front of us, right? So we have a really, really cool product launch today, REI funding, REI Revolution funding. And we're going to go into that. So T, you want to hit the next slide?
Yes, sir.
Cool, cool, cool.
Are we looking
All right, so
fun?
yes, sir, we're looking good. So today I want to go over a couple different things here, right? So who are we, right? What is REI Revolution funding? Like the current landscape of lending, what DSCR is, and kind of talk about what we're thinking about doing as a collaboration together and what this product launch really entails for you guys as investors, right? What kind of value are we going to be able to add to you guys? So T, you can go to the next one. So
Got our team introductions here.
there we go, right? Again,
Yep.
I'll introduce myself again. My name's Jack, right? I work with leverage companies. We're a real estate conglomerate group, right? We're a private equity shop that focuses on acquisitions, dispositions, the whole nine. Lending, we have a large portfolio on our own. I've been with the company. I'm the second longest tenured person here. So currently, I've done everything from bringing in deals to dispositioning deals through our wholesale platform, from capital raising. My team is on track this year to close well over $100 million worth of loans. And we just love getting deals done. We love making business happen. T, you want to give a brief intro?
Yeah. Once again, my name's Tyler. I've been working very closely with Jack on this product. Been mostly prioritizing the back end development of and working through some of these engines. Working on software implementation, building portals for you guys, but we're going to get more into that as we keep going. But Jack is the guy, and we've kind of been tag teaming this whole thing together. So, I mean, without further ado, let's just get straight into it, I guess.
Absolutely. Right. So like I wanted to touch about who we are and kind of what is REI Revolution funding, right? So leverage companies, we have a couple different channels here, right? So we started off in the wholesale space, man. About 6 or 7 years ago, our partners were up in Jersey. We started wholesaling real estate, and it just quickly grew, right? So right now, we're doing over $100 million of wholesale transaction volume a year. We're flipping about 300 contracts a year. That just kind of expanded over into Leverage Holdings and Brick City and our media platform, and I can get into that too. You want to go to the next slide?
Yes, sir.
So this is like our story, right? We started off in like a lot of your guys' shoes, right? We were just trying to wholesale contracts and get deals done in any way, shape, or form, right? But we went from wholesalers to owner operators, right? So, like I said, we wholesale about 300 properties per year. We've established a 30+ person call center out of the Philippines. Frankly, that in and of itself is a business venture, right? That took us over a year to establish, and if you own a property in the tri-state area, you've definitely been called by us once or twice. That just kind of kept growing, and over time, we started buying these deals ourselves, and now we have $50 million of assets under management. We have a portfolio of over 300 units. We've done multiple successful syndications and capital raises. Our most recent one being in White Plains on an 89-unit building. But we just kind of took steps from there, right? In tandem with everything, one of our partners does come from the lending private equity space as well. And that was kind of the origination of Brick City, right? Right around the same time that leverage companies came to be. Um, but we started off as brokers. It was leverage capital in the beginning, actually, before we rebranded. But we were working with the top bridge, new construction, and DSCR lenders in the country. So we understand how to get deals done. And there was like a fundamental process frustration for us, though, right? So we, being investors ourselves, it was difficult to get to the closing table, and terms were changing on us nonstop. The process, it didn't feel streamlined. You get asked for documents over and over and over again. And we're really just trying to get deals done, right? So like, within that, after raising a few different syndications and kind of really doubling down on that, we learned how to raise money, and we brought on some really high level fund managers. So we brought on the VP of lending originations. His name's Sean Shanahan. He comes from the triple net space, and he successfully exited a $300 million fund focused on Dollar Generals. So
Wow.
his just to give you some context there,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, to give you some context, they were buying Dollar Generals when these were triple B rated, right? And right before they went to that A rating, that was the entire investment strategy. And once it went over that threshold, all the institutional guys got in, and they were successfully able to scale from 50 million to 300 over the time span of 5 years. So we got some real killers on our team, man. And with that, he came on board, and we launched TLC Opportunity Debt Fund 1, which is super excited. And we niched down into the DSCR space. We just found that this is just the area that we're best at, frankly, right? I mean, listen, there's guys that can do bridge, guys that can do new construction. We can do DSCR, and we can do DSCR very well. Everything's direct. We're direct lenders, we're wholesale lenders. And that's kind of like where we came from. At this point, we now encompass 4 different companies. We've done over $1 billion of loan volume. And we're just looking to keep expanding, right? So one of the coolest things about the conversation that I had with John was the similarities between like our group and your community. We're just so aligned in vision. And Tyler, if you want to skip over to the next one, I think that's a pretty good segue.
Vision is up next.
So our vision is we want to own every single aspect of the real estate transaction, right? From start to finish, right? Whether that's acquiring deals, whether that's providing investment opportunities to fellow investors via wholesale, double close, novation, whatever that looks like. We want to be lenders. We want to capital raise. But we want to do so in a way that we're under a non-institutional corporation, right? We want to prioritize the individual over the corporation, right? And our vision within that has always been we want to allow for wealth and ownership to really be that vessel that we can provide to people on a one-on-one basis that will encourage people to contribute to the collective, right? Ultimately, we want to help everybody win so that everybody wins, right? So everybody can grow together. And that's been a philosophy that's just only over the last, 5 or 6 years has just helped us scale to tremendous heights. And we're excited to see where it keeps going. Any questions that I can answer high level? I know I'm going kind of fast here. Like anything about our background?
Ladies and gentlemen, feel free to use the chat. Let us know if you got any questions throughout the presentation. And at the end, we'll have everybody that wants to come up raise their hand, and they can come and chop it up with us live as well.
Cool.
Give 'em a minute.
T, anything you wanted to add in there?
Not too much so far. I mean, I think we're covering it pretty well. But I think the biggest priority of what people want to see really is that individual focus. And I think that's why we do business as well as we do, and that's why we continue to do business the way that we do is focusing on that individual, finding creative solutions, and not really looking at it in the sense that most of these other corporations will size up a deal. It's not a cookie cutter product. We're here to find a resolution one way or another, and there's more than one way about taking that head on. So
And that's why I'm
that's what we do best.
I'm super excited for this stream specifically because, we talk about all sorts of different creative strategies all the time here. And I got on the phone with Jack and he put me onto some game that I hadn't even really thought of, right? Of ways to actually get incredible opportunities to refinance on properties, acquiring them subject to. And so I really want you to cover that in this live, Jack, because I know that that's going to be a huge, huge value, guys. So make sure that you stick around for this entire live, because not only are we going to talk about these loan products that you can go and qualify for, but we're also going to be revealing some strategies that maybe nobody else right now is actually pushing that Jack actually revealed to me. So I think that this is going to be a great opportunity, like I said. So stick with us and let's keep it going, Jack.
Absolutely.
Cool. Hit the next slide, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
And that was on our initial conversation, John. Like that line in red is really what I think kind of defines both of our groups, and I think this is why this is the perfect collaboration, right? We're building millionaires through real estate, right?
Legitimately.
Yeah, it's really exciting stuff, and to see what you guys are doing, to see what we're doing, there had to have been a way for us to collaborate, and frankly, that's the introduction of REI Revolution funding. So what makes this a little bit unique of a product offering is, while we're going to be powered by Brick City, right? This is not a brokerage type of relationship in any way, shape, or form. John has allowed us the privilege of being able to partner directly with your community, right? To launch its own lending platform that's directly tied to our debt fund, right? So we're going to be able to offer you guys the best in class product, right? We're going to be able to remove the middleman, and we're all going to be able to benefit from this collective, like, crowdsourced network that we have here, right? So, like, everybody says that real estate's a relationship driven business, and until you get to the closing table or you get into negotiations with lenders or sellers, you don't really understand that, right? But having the benefit of being able to offer this to all of you guys, everybody's going to be able to get the best pricing, get the best product, and have a couple more creative ways and solutions to get deals done. Frankly, like I would love to be as big of a help as I can as you guys are looking into whatever type of endeavor or financing transaction that you can. So even if it's outside of the scope of DSCR, right? Even if you guys are looking for agency financing, if you guys are looking for hard money lenders, if you guys are looking for I don't know, private community banks, if you guys are looking for lines of credit, if you guys are looking for gap funding, if you guys are looking for ways to fund a novation deal with conventional financing, right? These are all stuff that we intimately have experience with. And how about the fraudulent PPPs? I love that, Kel. I'm going to get into that. I promise you, brother. So before I dive into it a little bit more, I wanted to go over like the current landscape of what lending is in today's market, right?
Yes,
Could you hit that, Tyler?
Yep, we're in.
Cool. So today's lending landscape is really categorized into two different categories, right? You have traditional financing and you have private lending. Encompassing traditional financing, you have FHA, conventional deals. You have that institutional agency level financing that really only focuses on like investment grade properties. These are the JP Morgans of the world. These are like aspects of that, right? The Deutsche Banks, right? Then you have your local community banks, right? And there's pros and cons to all of these, right? I mean, I'm sure you guys are all well aware, like FHA conventional financing, it's really only meant for owner occupied properties. It's a full document process. Typically, you're going to get the lowest down payment going that way. But if you're looking to scale an investment portfolio, right? If you're looking to get more and more deals done, it's not something that you could do, right? Institutional is really relationship driven and frankly really relies on track record. If you don't have, I don't know, a portfolio or an SREO that's encompassing 100 to 10,000 units, right? It's not even worth taking a stab at. And the local community banks are great, but the limitations are it's like they have caps in terms of what they're able to give off to individual members of that community bank. You have longer turnaround times. Of course, that's a full doc process as well, and it could take a little bit of time, right? So that's like traditional, like 30-year type financing that you're going to find across a couple of different asset classes, right? Private lending is more so hard money, bridge lending, fix and flip loans, new construction, and non-QM and DSCR also fall into that category, right? So everything has a purpose, right? Hard money, right? Especially when you're just getting started, that you could certainly use it, right? Especially if you're just looking to get a purchase done, you're trying to facilitate a fix and flip, you don't have a ton of experience. You can go to a local hard money lender, right, in your area and pick up a 15% interest rate loan for 100% financing on a deal. However, they're incredibly high risk, right? And listen, if you miss a payment or you miss a balloon payment, the property's gone, right? There's also a lot of personal liability typically involved in those transactions as well. Bridge and new construction, right? It's a little bit different, right? Those are 12 to 18-month terms. These are with private lenders, not necessarily Joe from down the block, right? So these are higher interest rate loans just because of the shorter turnaround time. They're typically interest only, and you can typically get higher upfront leverage. However, almost everything in that category is going to be categorized from experience. And listen, if you want to swing trade, right? If you're looking to do a fix and flip and you want to get in and get out, sometimes that could be a really viable option. And that's kind of what ties us into non-QM, into DSCR specifically, right? If you want to go to the next slide, Tyler,
Yeah.
I could dive into that a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, like, what is DSCR lending? So DSCR stands for debt service coverage ratio, right? They're also known as investor loans. They're 30 or 40-year private mortgages. They're typically used for stabilized purchases or refinances. In this sector, you need the property to be in at least livable condition to execute on a DSCR loan, right? So what we call that is C4 condition. You'll get that on an appraisal. But as long as you're in minimum rentable condition, the property itself would qualify, right? And we're not really lending to you as an individual. We're lending to the borrowing entity, right? This is entity-based financing. Everything's closed in some form of an LLC. So the cool part about that is there's tons of protections, right? That they're going to keep you less personally liable on any type of real estate transaction. And that allows us to look at your purchase as a business, right? We're lending to you based off of the cash flow of whatever property you're buying, right? And really, we only need a couple different details. Like deal economics will play into it, right? So how much are you cash flowing? The loan amount, right? Are you at 80% loan to value? Are you at 50% loan to value? And your FICO score, right? That's ultimately what's going to determine terms. That's going to determine if the loan is even like feasible for these kind of situations. But everything is going to be determined primarily off of the DSCR, right? So the debt service coverage ratio, by definition, is your gross rental income divided by your PITI, right? PITI is principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. HOA can be included in there as well. So an example would be if market rent for a purchase is $1,500 a month, right? As long as your PITI, your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is also $1,500 a month or less, you're at a 1.0 DSCR, right? Now, if you got a little bit more income, right? Let's say you were at a $1,750 is your monthly rental income at the same monthly payment, you'd be at like a 1.25 DSCR, et cetera, right? The beautiful part about this is how quickly you can get these loans done, how low doc that they are, and it always comes down to scalability. Everything. This is the type of product that you probably want to embrace a little bit more if you're looking at really building a portfolio for yourself, right? If you're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 deals, that's really this is probably something that you want to pay attention to. So why, right? In the DSCR world, unlike conventional financing, right, there's no debt to income constraints, right? So I don't care how much your personal income is. Frankly, I'm not even looking for your personal income. I don't ask for tax returns. I way less documentation. Really, I mean, our average turnaround time for deals like this is 22 days start to finish, right? You can get deals done as quickly as 7 days.
Mhm.
But it's really all you got to do is you got to get an appraisal ordered. You order title, you order insurance. You send us 5 or 6 different docs. Once we get the appraisal back and we verified credit, you're getting ready to close, right? And the reality on why this matters is time kills all deals, right? I'm sure that you guys have seen situations where you got to do a 30-day close with a seller, right? Do you have the time to take the 60 to 90 days to put conventional financing in place, right? And the answer typically is no to that, right? Most guys typically want get cash transactions to begin with. And that's why you're leaning into like the hard money bridge lending space where you're paying these really, really high interest rates. So
Real quick,
it's
Jack,
just
I want
another
to make sure
tool.
that everybody is on the same page here, man, because I think that this is such a game-changing opportunity here. So
Please.
you're not concerned about people's personal income because you're not loaning to that individual, okay? When you're going and trying to get a DSCR loan, what is the lender looking at? They are looking at how does this asset perform? All right, what is this asset bringing in on a month-to-month basis? Is it in livable condition, right? You got to make sure that you can have a tenant in there. Is that right? And so if it's livable, it's already income producing day one, you're going to use that information to underwrite this deal and get somebody approved. It's not based off of their personal income. It's not based off their tax statement. It's based off of does this asset cash flow or not?
Correct. Exactly. And even if the asset doesn't cash flow, I'll get into some examples about that a little bit later.
Oh
You
yeah.
still have options, right? There's a ton of cool creative things that you can do with this, but like if you like think about this from like a logical point of view, right? If you have $20 million worth of mortgage debt in your personal name, right? In your personal name, and you have a $60,000 income, can you expect to continue to receive financing or mortgage specifically for long-term holds? Probably not, right? There's not a lot of avenues that you can embrace. Non-QM is probably one of the best accommodating loan categories out there for this, right? So you want as many future limiting factors put to rest as possible that could prevent you from continuing to build your portfolio, right? Any questions? I know we're kind of going through this.
We got a bunch of questions,
We're
and I
moving
love the
along.
questions that are in the chat right now. So we do have
We'll check them
one
out.
from Lair. What is the seasoning period? Is there a seasoning period on these loans?
Cool. So typically the seasoning period would be 3 months, right? Really depends on the it depends on the product, right? And the underwriting guidelines that we're utilizing. However, right, within 60 days post close, you can do something called delayed purchase financing, right? So it's a little bit different. But no matter the time frame in which you're purchasing the deal, there is something that you can do from it if you're looking to maximize equity. Having at least 3 months in between the purchase and when you're looking to pull the cash out, 9 times out of 10 is your best bet. Yeah.
That's great, and that's one of the
Also,
reasons why it's so important, to be working direct with you guys. There's no middleman. Is you actually can work on these terms. You can give them different options, and you can, move stuff around so that it makes sense for each and every single individual deal.
Well, you're completely right. I love it.
My
I love
bad,
it.
Tyler. I didn't
What
mean
else
to
do we
cut you
got?
off, man. I didn't mean to cut you off. What were you gonna
oh,
say?
no worries at all. I saw some people questioning about contact information, but I see you sent that we're gonna have a follow up, so just want to make sure that that was covered. But
Yeah,
yep, all contact info we'll get out.
fantastic. Yes, for everybody that sticks with us, we're going to be dropping the link, to the forum for people to be able to submit some opportunities, to us. The other thing is, if you haven't already, go and make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel. Okay, all of the replays are on the YouTube. It's free. It's a completely incredible opportunity, to go and see the playbacks. I'm going to drop the link in the chat. Make sure that you are subscribed to the YouTube. All right, guys.
All right.
Cool. I want to talk about the fun stuff a little bit, right? And this is what John
Let's
was
talk about
hinting
the fun
at
stuff. That's
a
what
little
I'm
bit.
hyped up for.
Let's do it, man. Come on, man. Come on. Give me
Okay.
hype. Creative applications. And John, you were touching about this in the beginning, right?
Real quick, Jack, before
What
we
ways
hop
can we?
into these incredible strategies that Jack is about to share with us, I gotta see. We got almost 70 people in the audience joining us live right now. How many of us are fired up? Drop a fire emoji in the chat if you guys are excited and you guys are grateful. You guys are excited to hear about this. Drop a fire emoji. I need to know how many of us are actually paying attention. We don't want to just go live just to spin our wheels. We want to see how many of us are actually paying attention to this live stream right now. Go drop
Let's
a
go.
fire emoji in
Let's
the
go,
chat,
baby.
ladies and gentlemen.
Come on,
Fire,
man.
light it
Love
up,
to
light
see
it
it.
up.
Come on.
Love
Let's
to see
go.
it.
Let's go. There we go. That's what I'm talking
All
about. Jack,
right.
you got this, man.
Get some
John, I
energy.
need you in my sales room, baby. Come
That's
on.
what I'm
I love
talking
that
about.
energy.
Fly me
I
out,
love
bro.
that energy.
I'll be there.
It's good. Let's go, man. I'm excited. I'm freaking excited. All right, let's talk about ways to get more deals done, man. So the creative applications of real estate can get really interesting, right? This is going back to entity-based financing, right? So what is a chain of title and how does it even apply to your business, right? I want you guys to think specifically of subject to transactions, right? In most subject to transactions, you have two separate parties, right, that have varying degrees of interest within the property specifically. Typically, you have party A that is going to be included on title, they're going to be included on the deed, they're included on the mortgage note, and party B, right, essentially the assumer, right, of the subject to deal, typically is only included on the deed. Sometimes they're on title, but they have external contracts to specify the terms of the subject to transaction. Let's talk about entity-based financing, right? So we have with entity-based financing, you can facilitate from an individual's name into an LLC simultaneously at closing using something we call a 721A contribution, right? This is really, I don't want to overcomplicate this for you guys. This is just a quitclaim deed. That's essentially what this is, right? And I'll give you guys an example here, right? So let's say title is transferred from party A's personal name into 123 Main Street LLC, right? On 123 Main Street LLC, we have an operating agreement, right? That shows party A, the person that's the original owner of the property, and party B, right, who is also now an owner of the property, the assumer of the property, right? The majority ownership over the entity that will own the property. Party A owns 20%, party B owns 80%, right? Because party A still remains on ownership on the entity, right? The chain of title is not broken, right? Therefore, right, party B has remained on the party A has remained on the newly formed entity, and party B, because they're predominant owners over that entity, is now permitted to be a sole guarantor on any new capital transaction. So what does that look like? Let's think about a cash out refinance, right? So if you guys were to enter into an agreement, one of the biggest concerns is from most subject to guys is they have to remain on the note, right? Party B owns 80% of that borrowing entity. They're the primary owner over that entity. They're going to be the only person that we're verifying credit on and the only person that's going to be on the mortgage, right? So we're going to be able to pay off the original note, right? Place this into a new mortgage, right? And party A doesn't even need to guarantee the loan at all, right? They do need to sign something called the pledge of shares agreement that just gives the LLC permission to take on the note, but now that mortgage is no longer in their name, and then whatever the cash out proceeds are from that property, of course, this is a DSCR loan, they're business purpose loans, right? You execute with those proceeds in whatever basis you need, right? This does not violate seasoning constraints, right? So I know somebody asked a question about that earlier. Think about a world in which a property's worth $300,000, right? You can get 75% LTV on that $300,000 property. And frankly, The partner buyout on this deal, they only want $150,000. You could facilitate the cash out refinance, make sure that the partner buyout is dealt with appropriately, and you don't even have to bring any cash to the table. So that's a creative application, right? And of course, you want to make sure that you are approaching these with the right head on your shoulders and you're doing things the right way, right? But there's just a ton of things that we can do here. Any questions on that?
I've got a question for you, and this is something that I
Hit me,
actually
man.
ran into when I was talking to a seller about something like this. So they own it free and clear. So I wasn't sure, if this might make sense to do because they own it free and clear. There isn't like a note that we're taking over or anything like that. But I was trying to pitch them this idea where we could go and refinance, and pull out equity and give them equity. How would you structure an agreement with a seller that might be open to doing something creative like this, but wants to capture 100% of that equity when you can only refinance up to 75% at a given time, and of course you want to walk away with something on the deal? What would you do, and how would you approach that situation to keep the seller interested, but also be able to make this play where yes, they do get something and then you also walk away with something? You know what I'm saying here?
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to clarify here. This is a business proposition, right? So you're entering into a business contract the with the initial seller on the deal that they're going to maintain ownership over the property, right? They're going to have some skin in the game still. And however you would like to look like from a cash flow basis, right? Probably what my approach would be is, well, listen, here's what we're going to be able to achieve from a net refi proceed level, right? This is what kind of cash we're going to be able to pull out, right? The mortgage will no longer be in your name, right? You won't have that liability hanging over your head, and you'll be free from that property altogether. And from this point going forward, I'm going to make sure that you receive X amount of cash flow coming into your account from whatever excess that we have, right? If you're cash flowing 30% over your monthly payment, maybe 15% of that is going towards party A, right, in this transaction, right? Of course, any agreements that you guys have outside of that, it's completely up to you. But that would probably be the best approach on this, right? You guys are working through this together and solving problems, right? A lot of people don't want to hold on to these assets and they don't have time to sell, and it really can be a win-win situation if you play it correctly.
Awesome.
All right. We'll keep moving along.
Cool. I want to tie this back into like this collaboration. I'm just really excited about this, right? So I want you guys to really get excited because this is really for this community exclusively, right? We're going to be able to give you guys a direct lending advantage, right? REI funding is now directly in business with our debt fund specifically, right? You're not going to a direct lender anymore. There's no more brokers. There's no more nonsense fees that you guys are going to be dealing with. What makes us a little bit different, what makes our debt fund a little bit different from a lot of other guys in the non-QM space, you guys have the best product capabilities available, right? We have an extremely expanded buy box. So what that means is any capital correspondents that our debt fund's working with on the back end, all of them have different underwriting parameters. Things like low seasoning, right? Low credit score, like sub 1.0 deals, right? The property's losing money every month. Excess loan amounts, $5 million plus loan amounts. All of these things are going to be encompassed within the debt fund, within this partnership. You guys are going to have access to all of those products. And I'm sure people in here have run into situations previously where what won't work with one lender might work with the next. That's not a problem that we're going to have to deal with here, right? We're working with everybody, right? You guys have everything at your fingertips. You're going to get hands-on service, right? So we've actually met with our capital markets team and built you guys out your own pricing engine that we're going to be able to offer significantly reduced fees, right? Significantly reduced rates that we've already pre-negotiated because of all of you guys, right? It's just because we're bringing so many people on, the collective gets the benefit from everybody. But you're still going to have that same streamlined service, right? So like Tyler and I will be your main account representatives on any deal that you guys submit going forward. And and we're going to handhold these deals to the finish line. I want you guys to be able to call us or email us or talk through scenarios whenever you need to, right? Even if it's outside of the scope of DSCR. It's not like you're going to be stuck in some portal or waiting for a callback. Everybody's looped in on day one. You're going to feel what it's like to have upfront underwriting, right? When we're going to look at a deal together, we're going to take a look at rental analysis. We're going to take a look at tax analysis, what the value is. We're going to do a soft pull on the credit to make sure that we're in the right bucket on day one. So I remember the burdens of getting right to the finish line on a deal, and some of these things just weren't taken into consideration on day one. That's not how we do business, man. We want to know if it's a deal on day one, and we're going to let you guys know whether there's a way for you to make money or not, right? We're not just here to get the deal over the finish line. We're here to make sure that you guys are picking up the right opportunities. So a little bit more, right? Just to give you some generalized product highlights. Tyler, if you want to hit the next one. Right, so this is generally what we're looking for in the DSCR space, right? Minimum FICO score is going to be around a 620, right? The higher the FICO, the better, right? If you have a 720 plus FICO, you're probably going to get higher loan amount approvals. You're probably going to get lower interest rates. Overall, the deal will look better for you through and through, right? Our minimum loan amount is $75,000, right? So typically, right, if you're going to do a 75% LTV purchase, the property needs to be worth at least $100,000, right? And can we make exceptions there? Occasionally. We need compensating factors, right? You can't have a 620 FICO and a $50,000 purchase on a property that doesn't cash flow. But if there's any way that we can work with you guys, I want to. I'm going to blow my exception desk phone off the hook. They're going to get really pissed off with me very, very quickly. We can go up to $3 million on loan amounts. I've given out term sheets upwards of $6.5 million. So I don't know if we have any brokers or lenders in here specifically. One of the products that we've really been thriving with recently is like luxury single family. So I've given out a $6.5 million loan on a $10 million property over in Colorado. We do a ton of portfolio financing. So like there's just a ton of different options here for everybody, right? 80% LTV is typically where you're going to max out on a purchase or on a rate and term refi, and 75% LTV is where you're typically going to shake out on a cash out, at least in terms of like max proceed levels. We have interest only options, and we're accommodating for so many different asset classes. Right now we're 1 to 10 units, right? So even those mixed use deals that you guys are coming across right now, those are tough to get financed. We can help there. And in the very near future, we're going to be able to give you guys financing up to 20 units, right? So let's talk syndication. I want to see half of this chat throwing money in a pot together and buying a 20 unit apartment complex. And hopefully we're going to be able to help you guys out every step of the way, right? Somebody mentioned a little bit earlier about prepayment schedules. The cheapest option in our world, right, is always a 5-year prepay. That's just how it works, right? A 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 step down, 5% prepayment year 1, 4% your prepayment year 2, et cetera, always going to be your option. You're not limited to that, though. We're flexible. I have no prepay options. Pricing's a little bit different, right? And maybe we need to accommodate for one way or another. But I want to show you guys what all of your options are on every single deal, and I want you guys to make the best decision, and we're going to get there together, right? Foreign nationals are cool. Mixed use is okay, like I said. So that's just a general overview in terms of where we're at, right? We're slightly higher on interest rate than what you're going to find in like the conventional lending space, right? So we're in that like 6 to 8 typically is where our average interest rate is, but we're certainly cheaper than bridge, right? Certainly cheaper than alternative lending solutions. And one of the best parts about it is they don't appear on your credit either, right? So when you get this loan done, any implications of, I don't know, you buying a car or even like qualifying for more mortgages, as long as you make your payments, this will not report to the bureaus. And anybody that does fix and flips understands that burden of that credit score going up and down, right? So like that's at scale, that is a huge thing, right? I don't want to make sure that's emphasized. Do you have any additional comments?
No, I just think the flexibility here is the biggest play. I mean, up minimum 75K loan up to 3 mil. It's a no brainer, and at rates like this, and with a turnaround and a customized program, it just makes it all too easy. I mean, it's all encompassing. If you've seen it, I mean, we've probably seen it. So I'm just excited for what's to come. And of course, we're up to 10 units, but we're going to be flexing that up to an 11 to 20 unit program as well. So that'll help accommodate a couple more of us. But just really excited. I'm really excited for the partnership.
Absolutely. I know that
Absolutely,
especially
man.
for everybody that's actually, paying attention right now, taking notes, that is going to follow through, with what we're talking about after the stream. This is going to be that golden ticket. This is going to be how you actually scale that rental portfolio.
Oh, I'm getting hyped, man. I'm getting hyped.
Drop
Let's
some
talk
fire
real
in the
deals,
chat.
man.
Let's get into
Let's
some
talk real deals.
examples.
Let's do it, man. Come on, come on. So this is an example on maybe something that could be useful for you guys, right? This was a single family property that we closed a couple months ago in New Brunswick, New Jersey, right? Our wholesale team actually wholesaled it to the guy that took on this deal, right? So we have a couple things here, right? The purchase price was $265,000, right? The rehab budget was only 15 grand, right? And the ARV was 300,000. Is that a good deal? Do people think that's a great deal? I'm just curious in the chat. Somebody hit me with something.
See,
Would you
what do they
guys hop
think?
in on a 265 purchase and a $15,000 rehab? Let's see. Anybody? Hit me. Fire. Let's go.
Fire.
Fire. Honestly, I wouldn't take this deal, but this guy wanted to hold it in his portfolio, right? He liked the cash flow potential. And he just wanted to be able to get it done. But the guy had no fix and flip experience, right? So with that, he's not going to qualify for much with most traditional bridge or like fix and flip lenders, right? I guess even if you got the approval with no experience, right, you're probably going to shake out to the following. If you guys see down below, right, you're probably going to land around 70% LTV, right? You're going to have like a 12.5% interest rate. You're going to be on a 12-month term. They're going to give you $200,000 towards for like a total loan amount here. Probably like 187 towards the purchase, 15,000 as a renovation budget. And his cash to close in that situation is probably around $98,000, right? It just doesn't seem that aggressive, and it's a lot of cash out of pocket for a deal that just doesn't have a great ARV. We took a different approach here. T, you want to show what we did?
Sir.
So doing this as a DSCR loan, his lack of fix and flip experience did not matter to us, right? So we actually were able to qualify him based off of the market rent, right? There was no tenant in place, right? But when you get the appraisal conducted, the appraiser is going to give you a 1007, right? That tells you what they're estimating the market rent to be, right? Based off of that, I believe this one came out to like $3,500 a month. It could have been 3,000. So all I needed to do to keep him in the most aggressive program possible is keep his monthly payment, right, at $3,000 or less a month, right? What that looked like is 75% LTV. His rate was only 8.75. There was no prepayment penalty on this deal. It was 10 years interest only, and his cash to close was $76,000, right? You got a cheaper rate. You got to keep the loan interest only, right? You had a higher LTV. You had less cash to close, and you have no prepayment penalty. Overall, that is a win of a deal, right? The one thing that DSCR can't give you is the funds for renovation, right? So he did have to put $15,000 on a credit card, right, to do the TLC that he needed to do to get it done, right? But this was a no-brainer, right? This is an example that even sometimes in the bridge and new construction space, you can find creative ways to get deals done with these low doc products, right? With the stuff that you guys are gonna have at your fingertips now.
And so
Speaking
let
of
me ask you
creativity,
this,
this
Jack.
next one.
This guy, he
Yeah.
was looking at this as a flip. You pretty much were like, okay, well, this probably doesn't make sense. Let's see what other options we have. Let's move some numbers around here. You figured, okay, if we're gonna look at the market rents, this is what we can reasonably charge you, right? He got the appraisal, he got it back. This is what we can reasonably charge you. He goes, puts 15 grand, probably on a 0% interest credit card, to go and fix up the
Correct.
place, and then he goes and he sells the
Correct.
house,
No, he kept the house.
and he
He kept
kept
the
the
house.
house.
And let me tell you why he kept the house, right? On initially, right, we're going to be lending to you based off of the as is market rents, which was $3,000 a month. And in that situation, he wanted max proceeds. He wanted as least cash to close as possible to make sure that his payment, to make sure that we stayed at a 1.0 DSCR. How that worked out in this scenario was 75% LTV. But then on a 0% interest credit card, he did $15,000 worth of renovation to the property, right? And now he's appraising at $300,000, and now he's able to charge $500 more in market rent, right? So he has two options here. He can do the refi if he wants to, right? I mean, it's kind of high leverage. He probably wouldn't pull a lot of cash out.
Right.
Or he could just stay with this 8.75% rate with a $3,000 monthly payment, right? Wait for the property to appreciate and collect $500 of cash flow per month with less cash out of pocket, right? For him, that was the best option, right? And there's no prepay. So let's say something crazy like COVID happens, values skyrocket. If it makes sense for him to sell at any point in time, he can. So these are just some of the things that you could do with this type of product stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's an incredible scenario. That's an incredible scenario.
Yeah. Again, I see PDRE Solutions. Yeah, all in for 285 with an ARV of 300. I probably wouldn't have taken the deal either, but
far too high exposure.
Yeah. So listen, if you're looking to get deals done, you can get them done, right?
Great question from PDRE. Who funded the cash to close on that deal?
This came from him directly, right? I also want you guys to keep in mind we have a varying degree of underwriting guidelines, right? I have programs that I do not need to source funds, right? Like a lot of guys have seasoning requirements. All of this is going to be within the REI lending platform. All of this you guys are going to be able to tap into. We can give you, if you could get $75,000 deposited yesterday, and as long as we're underwriting with the right program, I don't need to source those funds. As long as I see it in an account, you're good to go, right? Very, very, very important stuff. A lot of guys need to see that in your account for at least 3 months, and that'll kill deals. So think along the lines of syndications. Think along the lines of private gap funding, right? Where maybe somebody gave them 80 grand or 90 grand up front, right? The more you can do, the better, right?
Fantastic. And what if somebody wants to get into a deal? Let's say, they're doing their other stuff. They're spending their money on ads. They're doing other stuff that they want to, stay liquid for whatever reason. Can they bring in a private money lender, to help them with the cash to close?
There's a kosher way to do everything, right? And so
let's talk about that.
Every single time, yeah, there's a kosher way to do everything. And that's the most important thing about like the direct lending advantage, right? It's not like you guys are going to be talking to just generalized processors that don't really understand these guidelines. We always look at deals holistically, right? And I'm sure a lot of you guys do as well. We want to know every single aspect of the transaction so that we can advise you guys the best approach here, right? Maybe if you are going to be receiving a large deposit that's going to encompass pretty much all of the cash to close, maybe you want to go with a different underwriting guideline just to make sure that you're still okay. Maybe that interest rate's 25 pips higher, right? You're paying 0.25% higher on an interest rate basis, but you're staying in line with what guidelines are, and that's the most important thing. The last thing that we want is for at the closing table for a deal to fall through, right? We're in the business of getting deals done. You're in the business of getting deals done. And things need to happen. They need to happen quick.
Yeah, I think one of the best resources that we might be able to offer, to the community is what exactly those guidelines look like. That way everybody knows, beforehand what they need to do, what they need to bring to the table in order to get these deals across the finish line.
Absolutely. And we're going to share that, right?
We do have all those educational
you got all that here for
documents
us?
as well.
Now,
We're ready for it. We're ready for everything.
Come on now. Come on now.
So Jack, take a look at this example deal too here.
Yeah, man, this is a cool one. Think about if a property doesn't cash flow, right? And this is just like how flexible DSCR lending is, right? So I had a broker bring me this deal. It was a 2-family over in Brooklyn, right? Um, the problem with New York is rent control, right? A lot of these apartments are capped at, I don't know, $3,000 monthly market rents, right? They can't even legally charge more than that to most of these clients. But you have this crazy New York appreciation where these values are just disproportionate to that, right? So the original appraisal on this deal came back at 1.9, right? The primary guarantor, the guy who was on title, right? He had a 649 FICO score, right? And the rent that he was collecting was $7,200 a month, right? He had a balloon payoff that month for $1.3 million, right? That he needed to pay off or he was going to default on this mortgage. So we had to get creative, and bridge wasn't an option here, right? We couldn't get him a bridge loan. He just didn't qualify, specifically because of the FICO, because of the asset. There was a bunch of reasons why. So, I mean, typically, with most guys, this would probably max out at, I don't know, like 30% LTV, a ridiculously high interest rate because his score sucks. Because they got to keep him at a 1.0 DSCR. His monthly payment can't exceed $7,200 a month. And that would probably result in this guy bringing close to $900,000 cash to close, right? Tio, show you what we did. What we did is we added a credit sponsor to the deal, right? That's the most important thing here, right? So like I said, deals are priced in terms of determined primarily off of a couple of things. You got deal economics, right? You have FICO score, and a couple other qualitative metrics, but like it's mainly those two. So we brought on his daughter who had a 720 FICO. We transferred it 721A contribution. Let me hear that. Say that 5 times fast in the chat, baby. Come on.
Let's
721A contribution, baby. Come on.
721A.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it. So we made an entity, right? They put this over into an LLC. He added his daughter on there. He gave his daughter 51% ownership over that entity. So we got to use her FICO. And we were able to go sub 1.0 DSCR, right? Essentially, we made this look like a bridge loan on steroids for this guy, right? We gave him, it wasn't, I apologize, that's incorrect on there. We gave him a 12-month prepayment penalty, right? Just to keep the rate down as low as possible. We gave him 10 years interest only. We were able to increase LTV up to 65%. So he went from bringing $900,000 cash to close to getting $155,000 cash back, right, at the closing table. It was a no ratio loan, so he's losing money on this deal every month, right, which sucks. But we also challenged the appraisal and got this value up to 2.4, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the type of team that we're plugging into, baby. We don't just like let deals die, right? We have a crazy amount of relationships, right? Where like this was Bowery appraisals that we utilized on this. I have 5 guys on speed dial on my phone, right? We like this is a collaboration here. Like we want everybody to be able to tap into everybody's relationships because that saved the deal, right? Not letting it die, not just accepting an appraised value, right? Going above and beyond to make deals happen is ultimately how that worked out here, right? So like we were able to give them, I think it was a $1.5 million loan amount, just about. Yeah, he was losing a little bit of money every month. But his plan was after that 12-month prepay, that is incorrect in there. We can't do that. We can't do a 51111 for all my brokers in the house. That saved a bunch of deals for me. But his plan is he was going to wait 12 months and he's going to sell the property, right? And he was going to profit $1 million on it, right? Rather than defaulting on the mortgage or bringing $900,000 cash to close. You got to get creative. You got to look at it from so many different lenses. So many different guys would tell you that this is just not a deal that's not worth doing. And that's just not the case, right? There's ways to get deals done. So this was like a bridge loan on steroids. And there's no balloon payment on this. This is a 30-year term. If you wanted to hold it forever and somehow the tenants wanted to pay him double, like under the table, like maybe, yeah, sure, why not? There's just ways you can get deals done, ways you can make stuff happen.
This is fantastic, guys. I think you guys really need to recognize what these guys are willing to do to get a deal across the finish line, okay? They don't want you to go and get a bad deal, okay? They're going to help you and make sure that the deals that you're actually funding are good deals and worth funding, right? It's in everybody's best interest to get a good deal. But the way that these guys are so flexible with their loan product and the way that they can move these numbers around is incredible. This guy went from needing to bring 900K to close to getting paid 150 grand at the closing table. This is insane.
Oh man. It's power. It's really, really powerful stuff, man. It's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
It's really exciting. Going into that, right? It's like I think I touched on it a little bit. There's a lot of guys in this space that just don't have so much context, right? Again, tapping into the power of community, right? Like we not only are we're the fastest growing DSCR lender in the country right now. We understand what it's like to be an investor because we are investors. We understand the nuances of creative deals. Oh, there's an assignment fee attached to this. Oh, there's an ovation involved here. There's a double closing. We get it, right? And we're able to tap into that. You guys are able to tap into that. I want to learn stuff from you. I want you guys to be able to take all the resources that we have as well. It's just really, really cool stuff. But we want to prevent like large spread misinformation. We want you guys to get it directly from the source, right? From guys that have done it. We want you guys to be able to like feel the accountability, right? Like I said, our average turnaround time right now is 22 days start to finish, right? You don't get that kind of turnaround time unless you're on the deal, you're on the ball, and you're intimately involved in the process, right? So how we're gonna make sure all that happens for you? We're gonna get a deal submission portal put together. Like I said, we've already created a custom REI Revolution pricing engine, right? Mm-hmm. Within that, you guys are getting discounted closing costs, discounting fees, discounted interest rates. We've already went to all of our capital correspondents on the back end and have already negotiated, because this is such a large group, such a large entity, that we're gonna have lesser spreads specifically for your guys' files. So while you guys are powered by Brick City, I really, really need to encourage you guys. You need to submit this through REI Rev, because Brick City can't even give you guys what you guys are going to be getting through this. Mm-hmm. You guys
this is a custom built product.
Yeah, this is custom for you guys. You guys are really, really tapped in there now. So like this is incredible. Like I'm super, super excited for it. But I also wanted to tap into ways that we can help elevate you guys, right? My lenders, my brokers, or guys that just get deals done in the room. We have broker opportunities, right? So like I said, we have the custom.
Some people asking some questions about that before the chat as well.
Yeah. I want, even if you don't have the deal directly, but you think that you can get this deal done, right? You guys are going to be able to charge points if you guys want, right? I want you guys to start feeling like a little bit of success here on getting deals done. I want you guys to embrace that glory, right? For my brokers and lenders in the room, if you guys have some more specific questions on that and how you can tap into REI Revolution to maximize your DSCR product offerings, I can go more in depth with you guys. I know you might have some more specific questions that might not be relevant for everybody, but I'm happy to do that. Me and John will walk you guys through exactly what that looks like.
And I appreciate that, Jack. I've already got a couple people that come to mind that definitely might take us up on that for sure.
Yeah, no, it's cool stuff. Tyler, what do you give us some context here? I know we're
so
be leading into this portal stuff. Like, what does this even look like?
So leading into this portal, what we're talking about with this custom built product, these are not just custom built rates for this team. What we're doing is providing an entire service. So we're flushing out a system with a form submission, and it's going to be really simple. I mean, all you have to do, you click on the link, and it's from a trusted source. You're not going to some random website, speaking to some person that you've never met before. You have no idea who they are, giving them information, giving them personal financial statements. We're not doing that here. It's a form. All we need is some basic info about yourself, a way to contact you, email, phone, and then a couple more points about, what you're looking to get done. FICO score, and that's really just it. Market rents, what your appraisal value is. Once we have all of this information, it's going to auto-populate through our system, through your designated representatives and account managers, Jack and myself. And that's going to be input into our custom-built pricing matrix, right? This is going to be the engine that's driving this machine here. It's not, messaging people here and there, and then there's an email that comes in this way, and then I have to log in to this and speak to someone else this way. This is official branding. This is an official system. and it's as simple and easy as you could possibly make it. Once again, those custom rates that we've negotiated with John are all going to be at play here, and it's just a very smooth start to finish time frame that really, anyone could understand. On top of that, we're building out a portal, right? This is what I'm mostly excited about in this engine. We're building out a portal so that you can log in and actually see what stage your deal is in at that given point. Start, it gives you a notification, deal submission entered, and then you can log in and see your deal in the portal. From that, it goes to soft quote, and it goes to negotiations, and it goes on and on and on until we're at that 22-day mark and we're closed, and then it's done. Everyone's happy. We get the deal done, you get the deal done, and it's as simple as that. It's you're not seeing a product offering like that anywhere else. You're not dealing with random people calling you and you have no idea what's going on. It's a polished product that's really only accessible to you guys here. So I love it.
It's exciting stuff, man. You're getting me hyped up, man. You're getting me hyped up.
I'm excited.
This is cool. This is cool stuff.
I want to know how many of us in here are actually in this business to actually scale. All right, we got to know how many of us, the 50 of us that are with us right now. I want to give a huge shout out, number one, to all the people that have stuck around to the end of this live. But how many of us are seriously in this business to build and scale our very own portfolio? How many of us are about ownership? Not just about wholesaling and quick assignments, but about actually owning something, creating a legacy. How many of us are here for that? Let's go. Let's go.
Let's go. I love it. I love it. I love
We
this
are
damn
making
community,
millionaires.
This is the number one most valuable real estate community in existence.
Let's go. Come on, baby. I love it.
All right.
Awesome, this is awesome. But yeah, Tyler's going to be really working a lot more intimately with the back end and really kind of putting these tech practices into place for you guys. So there's a lot more to come. This is just the beginning. We do want to allow you guys to hit the ground running. And so we'll go into that a little bit. Let me just pull this up. Like just coming full circle, right? We just want to give you guys the most creative solutions like possible, right? The ways that we have been able to get deals done within our portfolio, right? How we've been able to syndicate capital raises, the way that we've been able to facilitate fix and flips. Heck, man, even if you're looking to do a novation or a wholesale, we have the largest New Jersey database ever. Let's JV, let's co-broke, let's do something, right? So like, frankly, just because we're launching REI Revolution funding, I want this to expand way, way, way beyond that. I want this to be a through and through value proposition where everybody's able to eat and we're collectively able to grow together. We want to see every deal you guys got, man. We want to see every deal you guys got. So if you have a scenario and there's a way that we can help, whether it's me connecting, Tyler connecting, Mr. Eric Pinecki's in the building. I see you around there. Come on. That's
all right.
That's one of our managing partners. You guys have a great team that's here and ready to root for you, and get the best product too. Come on now.
Oh, it's the best.
Absolutely.
You're not gonna beat it.
What else do we got? Cool. I mean, listen. With all that being said, T, you have any other comments? Anything else you wanted to add?
All this is just, we're opening up the gates here to, all opportunities from anyone of any walk of life. There's so many bottlenecks in real estate that, kind of gets brushed under the carpet when you're talking about scaling and making, your dreams come true and following your career through these real estate avenues. But, we make it simple, and it's honestly a wonder to me why it hasn't been this simple and why things like these, topics like this aren't spoken about more often. But, I've been building relentlessly this vehicle, to drive with this community. And I mean, that's really all to be said. We understand where you're coming from. We understand the positioning. We just don't want to see any opportunity slip through anyone's fingers. It's It's, really nothing more disappointing than wasted potential. And through these products, we are able to provide those creative solutions that you're not going to see elsewhere. So maybe a deal isn't going to work, in any of these other shops, but we're gonna do our damn best to figure out a way. And that's what it's all about.
Let's go, Tyler.
Come
Yes,
on,
sir.
Tim.
Let's go.
Come on,
Let's
Tim.
go.
Oh, that man is hitting it. I love it. I love it. Yeah, listen, like I said, right? We're gonna share, like, right now as we're finalizing these portal details. We're gonna share something just really generic. We're gonna share a Google form, um, just for you guys to feel free to share any type of information in there, to start getting the ball rolling on deals that you guys have currently. Like Tyler is talking about, like, this is gonna keep growing. You guys are gonna have even more at your fingertips in the very, very near future. Um, whether it's you need a bridge loan, whether you need a DSCR loan, like, I don't care what it is. We want to be with some of the guys to help you get that done. Um, there's nothing more disappointing than wasted potential, right? And a deal that could have been a deal. Um, that's a sad story to tell, right? Uh, what else?
Yeah.
That's about it, man. I mean, Tyler, if you want to pull up the contact page just so everybody has it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That would be great. I guess I'll open it up right now. I know I want to be very respectful of everyone's time. We're a little bit over an hour. Any questions? Anything that we could dive into a little bit deeper?
We do have a couple questions. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to please raise your hand on the Discord. We're going to bring you up so that you can come and ask your questions live with us. Or if you can't come and join us on the stage, make sure that you use the side chat and put your questions in the side chat. We are going to get all of your questions answered, and we want you to ask all of the questions that you have so that you completely understand this opportunity and this loan product. So we got Daniel. Daniel is a licensed agent, and he is asking about a couple things. Number one, I saw a little bit earlier, as a realtor, how would one benefit by using this loan product? So I'm going to let Jack get to it, but Daniel, especially if you're tapping in a little bit later, make sure that you go and watch the complete replay, so that you can completely understand, how this product differentiates, from every other product that's available. Jack, how would you say an agent or a realtor or a broker might be able to benefit from working with REI Revolution funding?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Eric's response in there. Help you get deals done. It's probably like our best avenue here, right? There's a ton of scenarios as a realtor where, for one reason or another, you're just not going to qualify for conventional financing, right? And if that's the case, right, um, there's outlets to get deals done in this way, right? So, um, even beyond that, right? If you have opportunities that you're coming across, I really want to hammer in on that broker opportunity, that broker program that we're launching within the REI Revolution funding. Um, you guys are going to be able to become brokers on your own, right? If you come across these types of opportunities, right? If you see financing needs in the marketplace, and you see that your own internal funding can facilitate it, I want you guys to go out there, charge points, do whatever you got to do, start your own little shop. Um, I just want to be able to see everybody kind of thrive in that setting, right?
I've got a question that comes up. For people that are already wearing the broker hat, right, that might be, sourcing financing from another institution or maybe other private lenders, how is REI Revolution funding competitive and superior to any other loan product that's available right now?
All of it's going to come down to the upfront underwrite, right, in the process, right? Um, I cannot tell you. I come from the broker space. I come from the white label space. So, like, I remember sitting in portals with some of the top guys, that also do non-QM financing, and I'm at day 30 sitting in this portal waiting for a VA in the Philippines to give me a response. What the status is of my loan after I gave them a full package 2 weeks ago, right? Um, and then they would come back to me, and LTV's different, right? They have to cut leverage, the interest rate's going up, wait, this, that, and the other thing. The closing time frame didn't happen appropriately. Real estate's a relationship driven business, it's a people driven business, right? So you got to have the people, like, in your corner that really, really get deals done, and you're not just getting stuck in some queue, right? Where you just can't get any answers. Um, like, beyond that, like, our product capabilities, like, they really are like the most broad product capabilities in the marketplace right now, and I say that very very firmly. Like we have a lot of different ways that we can verify for like short-term rentals, for example, right? Short-term rental income verification is a big problem for most guys, right? If a condo is non-warrantable, right? I don't know if anybody's ever run into an issue there. That is unfinanceable with most non-QM lenders. Um, we just have such a reach and so many different people within our network that we're able to kind of like underwrite to various different guidelines that if you don't embrace that relationship type of philosophy and you're just out here to be a lender, you don't have those at your fingertips. um, that's the reason why we're the fastest growing DSCR shop in the country. That's the reason why uh, we're doing them. My team's doing $100 million this year, well over it, right? Um, we're winning business, and we're winning business for the right reasons.
Let's get it. We got some great questions. Big Play J, how would that work to use the DSCR to do a new build loan? How is the LTV calculated for the build? What would the qualifications look like? And will there be a product to fund new builds for REI Rev guys looking to build?
Okay. The biggest thing, right? And I want to DSCR is an investment loan, right, for an investment property that is currently in rent-ready condition, right? So this is not for new construction. This is not for complete tear-down renovations, right? There are other products out there that would probably be a little bit more advantageous. However, if there's a property for purchase, don't even need a tenant in place, right, and it's ready to be rented, you can facilitate on that lens. Like I said, though, if you have a scenario like that and you're looking to kind of tap into more capital outlets, capital options, you want to get more deals done, I am more than happy to take a look at deals with you guys and refer you to some of our best partners in the space as well.
Fantastic. Do you have a loan product for new builds and new construction?
We don't. We are specifically a DSCR fund, right? So anything outside of that scope, well, we can get creative, like in some of the deal examples I gave you before, to accommodate, right? Where maybe you're coming out less cash out of pocket to begin with, and you rather than like a new construction loan. This is a DSCR specific shop, and we do this one product extremely, extremely well.
Love that.
Mm-hmm.
See.
T, you seeing anything? You see any other questions maybe we haven't answered?
Keeping my eye out. I'm trying to scroll up, seeing if there's anything we missed. Let's see.
I think I got one. Byron asks, do you provide agency loans?
We do not. So agency loans, that's just a totally different market group, right? You're going to have different requirements. We can certainly help connect you for agency financing if that's what you're looking for. This is just a different product in and of itself. And the way that it's securitized on the back end, there's some nuances to what makes it different. But no, this is private lending. This is not government-backed agency financing.
Perfect.
Once again, though, that's another bonus that you get with dealing with us. You're not going to get those referrals, at other shops, even if it's not a deal that we can cover ourselves. I can almost guarantee you we know someone that can, and we're more than happy to help with any of those questions or I'm looking to get this done. Okay, well maybe that's not a product that we're specifically working on at this given moment, but we're more than happy to help.
Will the DSCR loan work with a subject to investment property? We did talk about that a little bit earlier. If you want to run back the live stream, you'll see a very, very detailed example and kind of how that might work, right? But yeah, there are certainly applications in the subject to space.
And Roderick's a great member. I would definitely go and watch that replay because especially for someone like you that does go out there and find these sub 2 opportunities, using the sub 2 play, to get that same chain of title like Jack describes in the live, and then doing the refinance is going to be a game changer. So make sure, guys, if you haven't already, go and subscribe to the YouTube channel and watch these replays, okay? These are not empty videos. These are value-packed webinars and live streams and instructionable information that you can go and implement. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure that you're in touch with Jack and Tyler. You want them to send you a text? You want everybody to send you a text? Make sure you got everybody's contact in here. If you've got a deal, all right, if you've got a deal that you're looking for financing for, right, don't just shoot them a text, hey. If you've got a deal that you're looking for specifically DSCR financing for, make sure that you screenshot this contact info for both Jack and Tyler. All right, we're going to make sure that you also have the portal so that you can submit all the info. But in case you need to get in touch with them, they've got their contact information set up right here for you.
Absolutely. And like you said, I just wanted to reiterate, we are going to be implementing that portal immediately. So that will be accessible to everyone for a quick submission and a quick turnaround.
Hey, and
so that's gonna be your ticket.
I love it. For everybody that's watching the replay, the website's going to exist by the time you see it. Go to reirev.com/funding. All right, reirev.com/funding, and we are going to make sure that you get directed to that portal and directed to that form so that you can fill it out and make sure that you get in front of both Jack and Tyler to see if your deal qualifies.
Love it.
Absolutely. How much units does the DSCR loan cover? So right now, Mikey, we're in the we can go from 1 to 10 units, right? That's including mixed use properties. However, we are finalizing some details that are going to allow us to launch a new product in the 11 to 20 unit space. We're hoping to have that ready by the end of Q2, hopefully a lot sooner. But myself, John, Tyler, we're all working on this very, very thoroughly, and we can't wait to. We're going to continue to give you guys updates and more resources for your arsenal.
Okay.
Awesome. Taylor's asking about the
Yes,
website.
sir.
We're gonna have it for you. It's not out just yet. reirev.com/funding. All right.
We'll make an announcement in the chat. Make sure everyone sees it.
Yep.
And we will make sure to drop the form, right, just for the interim, so that you guys have it for any other deal submission. That's going to be your primary source, just to make sure that things are being efficiently looked at, right? Otherwise, it could fall to the wayside. We wouldn't want to see that happen.
Do we have the link for the form?
Yes, we do, and I'll make sure that I'll share that with you directly in just a few minutes, John. We'll drop it in the chat right after this.
Fantastic. Once we get that link, I'm gonna make sure that that reirev.com/funding redirects everybody right to the page they need to be at so they can fill out that form.
Excellent.
Fantastic, gentlemen. Listen, I really appreciate you guys all, showing up and answering everybody's questions. I hope, ladies and gentlemen, that you all could take something away from this that isn't just going to make you feel good, but that it's going to actually drive you to apply this in your business and start building your rental portfolio. I hope that everybody has a sincere vision for what they are going to do with this information. It is absolutely incredible that we have such generous individuals coming to share with us on a regular basis. I cannot thank you enough. Tyler, thank you so much. Jack, guys, this is the #1 most valuable real estate community in existence. You got to invite somebody you think will benefit from being in proximity with us. Tell them to come and join us at reirev.com or on Discord at discord.gg/reirev. Jack, Tyler, how are we doing? How are we feeling? We ready to send them off?
I'm feeling good.
I'm feeling excited, man. I feel great. REI Rev, let's go.
Let's get
I'm loving it.
Baby, I'm excited. Yeah.
I'm loving it.
Awesome. One last question from Mr. John Foster. How many points do you typically charge for an exceptional borrower on a deal?
Absolutely. It's a great question. And that's one of the benefits of like REI Revolution funding being directly tied to our debt fund specifically, we're offering discounted origination and discounted fees on top of that reduced interest rate spread that you're going to be seeing. You're going to have some of the most aggressive interest rates available in the marketplace. Typically, these are like 2-point type of deal transactions. Because of the community relationship and everything we're doing on here, it looks like we're going to be able to honor a point across the board consistently, right? So that's phenomenal, right? It's
1 point.
it's a lot cheaper than a lot of other alternatives.
You got the best rates, and you got 1 point. Come on now. Tap in, everybody. All right, everybody. Thank you again, Jack. Thank you so much, Tyler.
Yes, sir.
May
Thank
God
you for
continue
having
to
us,
bless you
man.
guys.
It's been a pleasure.
Yes, thank you for coming on,
Absolutely.
man. Truly, truly, truly. Guys, if you haven't already, invite somebody you think would benefit from being in proximity with us. We will catch you in the next one. Take care, everybody.
Go. Take care.
Absolutely, guys. Let's do it. Thank you, John.